Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer who lost a horse, ran away. And all the neighbors came around that evening and said, "That's too bad." And he said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back and brought 7 wild horses with it. And all the neighbors came around and said, "Why, that's great, isn't it?" And he said, "Maybe." The next day, his son was attempting to tame one of these horses and was riding it and was thrown and broke his leg. And all the neighbors came round in the evening and said, "Well, that's too bad, isn't it?" And the farmer said, "Maybe." And the next day, the conscription officers came around looking for people for the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And all the neighbors came round that evening and said, "Isn't that wonderful?" And he said, "Maybe."
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to
Zen Farmer.
We're back after a brief sabbatical.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, stretch out a little bit. That feels nice. Yes. Jen and I. Hey, it's Kurt, by the way. Hey, wait, hold on.
Jen.
Let's back up.
Spring is sprung.
That's good.
Yeah.
I saw some goslings today on Beaver Drive. That was
Yes,
really
you
nice.
did.
Yeah. Sun is shining. Clouds are out, all white and puffy, making me feel good.
Yes.
Good things coming our way, gang. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Kurt, CRS.
Jen, CRS.
And today we are joined by Francis Catalano, Back to Basics Fitness.
Yes. Very special guest with us today.
Yes, we've been talking via email the last week or so, and once upon hearing Francis' story, we knew we just had to get him on for the show to share his perspective with this rife and beautiful strife that we call substance abuse and
recovery. And how
recovery,
he's
of course.
managing his recovery. So many different pathways. We want to be able to explore those and get the information out to all y'all.
So, if you would, Francis, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you landed on our doorstep here today.
Yes, sure. First off, I'm very thankful to be here. My name's Francis Catalano. I'm now the owner of Back to Basics Fitness in Punxsutawney. I've been trying to get into doing a little speaking and trying to really motivate and inspire others that come from the same background as myself. So I did a little presentation just a couple weeks ago for the Criminal Advisory Board, and I've been sharing my story just in my hometown and things like that for the past couple years, and it just kind of snowballed. People started hearing about it, so I was asked to do the presentation, and just did that a couple weeks ago and went well. And then someone reached out to you and connected the dots, and here I am today to share a little bit about myself, maybe some things that can help others. Main thing, my big mission is to inspire people, that addicts, specifically criminals, that went through the same crap that I went through, and to help them understand and believe it is possible. And if I can do it, anyone really can, because I was pretty much the worst kind of addict you could think of. About a 20-year addiction, mostly opiates, heroin. I was a pretty heavy IV user, multiple stays in different county jails, state prison. It's been a long road, but I'm thankful to be on the other end of it now and moving forward. And it's pretty cool to try to help. Even doing something like this, I never thought was possible. But if I can reach one ear, job done.
Yeah, makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
And I think sitting before you here today, like this smile, really
Yes.
says it all,
Oh,
man.
man.
I mean,
It just oozes gratitude.
the amount
Yeah,
of
oh, yeah,
gratitude,
I'm
I'm right here with
excited.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm really glad, and that's something that speaks to our community too. How we can end up with each other through the good of all these local agencies that work together to provide this for us, so that we can connect and be able to share with one another.
Exactly.
I love hearing that the opposite of addiction is not just not using it. The opposite of addiction is connection.
Absolutely.
And we have to be able to count on each other and to be able to grow this support and get our word out to reach people who otherwise may be unfamiliar with what resources are available and how we can help.
Yeah, and it's proof too that people do get better. We do recover. Here we sit, three of us that probably shouldn't be alive, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
sitting in a room together. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
Hmm.
I think so.
Great. I mean, tell us about the gym and how you got started with that.
So fitness is probably one of my biggest coping mechanisms. I got into that in the county jail. I was doing like a 9-month stay, waiting to get sentenced, and I said to myself, like, man, I really need to start taking care of myself. I'm just gonna start exercising on a daily basis. So it started there, and then I got sent to a rehab, which it was a co-ed one. I messed it all up on my very last day before I completed it. They denied me completion of the program, and I was sent back to jail to get resentenced. So then I stayed for a little longer and got resentenced to the SIP program. I got sent to Camp Hill for classification, and I met a guy. I like to call him my mentor. Still talk to him to this day. He's the one that really got me into exercise, and it helped me build a confidence in myself that I never had before. And the cool thing of it was, like, I was very out of shape at the time. I was still kind of coming off of the years of addiction, because it took a long time. So I seen this guy exercising in the yard, doing these like crazy type of, similar to like a CrossFit type of workout, calisthenics and things. And I said, like, wow, I need to be doing that. It looks brutal, but I need that discipline in my life. So I joined the group, and I started to notice something. I would see others come and join into the group that were way bigger than me, way stronger, but I started to notice something, like people would come and go, but I kept showing up every day, every day, every day, even to the point of like throwing up, working so hard. But that really helped me to realize, like, okay, it doesn't matter what I have, where I come from, as long as I got the heart inside, I can do things that I'm not saying others can't do, but I have the power to control what's going on around me. So I really took a liking to that, and over the course of the state prison time, me and this fella and a small group of us worked out for about a year and a half, and then we even ended up leaving the prison, and then we ended up both all going back to the same rehabilitation center before we hit the streets down in Pittsburgh. We met back up again, continued, and we were waking up at like 4:30 in the morning, even at the rehab facility. They would allow us to go in the room. And then I had got released, and upon release, one of the guys was like, hey, you're really starting to you seem like you're taking a liking to exercise. And so even when I was in the prison, some days my mentor would be down and out for the day, and he'd say, hey, Francis, today you run the group. So I was like, okay. And working with inmates and things is a tough atmosphere. But I started to see, like, I can guide this group of guys for an hour, sometimes even two. Come out and exercise. We all walk away feeling good, feeling happy. So one of the guys was like, hey, maybe when you got home, you could do something. And to that point, I didn't even know being a personal trainer existed. I didn't know much about it, but it definitely stuck in my head. So So after I got home, and I just got out, and within a month, COVID had hit. So I was already falling behind on getting my bills paid. My parents had got me a place for my home plan. Started falling behind real quick, and having felonies and things on record, no one wants to hire you. Sure. Walmart everywhere in our town, stacks of applications. I was trying. Mm-hmm. I started to get discouraged, and really close to a full-blown giving up, relapse, going right back to my old ways. But after a couple months of really trying to struggle getting a job, a hardware store gave me a call. I can remember the day like it was yesterday, because this was a real blessing. I was exercising out in a empty parking lot because COVID, everyone was quarantined, and I got the phone call. They said, "Hey, we're going to give you a chance." And I can remember even breaking down into tears, like, this is all I need, is just that little stepping stone to just save a little money. I can maybe buy my learning package to become a trainer, and so on. But that was a big moment. And then after that, a lot of doors started opening. I got into working with my niece was one of my first people I tried to work with, just to see if I could actually coach people and help them, to see if it was something that I could do as a business. I can remember saying to myself, like, I need to find something to do for the next eternity, or this could be, and I'm sure you guys can relate. If you don't have something that's
a purpose,
a purpose of every day, you can get off track
easily,
real quick. So I started working with some friends, family, one of my bosses, just to see if I could be a coach, and it started working out. I got saved up a little money, bought my course through the American Council of Exercise, studied for like 6 to 8 months, little bits here and there, and I took my course. I passed it, and then I worked a construction job for about another year just to save up a little extra money, because now I was to the point where, okay, I can do this, but now I needed a space of my own where I could, just really concentrate and kind of open the business for myself. So I was scrolling Facebook the one morning. It was kind of weird. The night before, I had a dream, like visualizing, this little. My studio's not big. It's just a small room, like 20 by 40 or something. And I had this dream of, like, man, I'd really like to be right downtown on Main Street. And the next day, I was scrolling. The very first thing I seen, someone said, "Hey, I have this room. If anybody would like to rent it out." The price was very reasonable and something that I could afford. So I bit the bullet and called her up and said, "All right, I'm gonna go for it." Yeah. And within 2 weeks after that, I quit my day job and went all in on the coaching business, and I've been doing it a little over 2 years now. Right now, I usually carry anywhere from 10 to 15 clients, sometimes up to 20, and do about 20 to 25 sessions a week, 1 hour at a time. And the best thing is I enjoy it.
Absolutely.
I try to help others to kind of connect, because that's probably my one biggest thing is kind of my new addiction. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if I don't have it every day, I don't feel the same. But I can now feel those natural feelings, rather than the ones that you have
the
to go out.
The artificial ones.
Yeah, you have to go out and
Absolutely.
chase, and those ones are irreplaceable.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I'm so happy that was your arc,
Yes.
The way you describe it as coming to you in a dream,
Mm-hmm.
and then realizing that manifestation almost
Yeah.
instantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I could cite several examples where things seemed to line up for me, and that kept me on track to thinking, okay, this is what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
the CRS work that we do. It wasn't ever really on my radar. However, it seemed that was the stepping stones were being revealed to me, and that was the direction. I kept kind of getting nudged.
Yeah.
It's changed my life positively for the better since. And quick bit about myself. I was a career bartender for a long time, and I just loved that connection with people. I loved seeing people in an atmosphere of everybody enjoying themselves, having a great time. Unfortunately, I learned that I couldn't be like that, right? And once I was able to separate myself from that crowd, I'm a host. I'm here to provide the atmosphere for these people. I can't engage no matter how hard I tried. I'm unable to fit in with that. But some doors opened up for myself, and here we are sitting here today, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But we think about how we expect like immediate results, right?
Oh, yeah.
After coming off of something that we've been doing for such a long time,
Yes.
And physical fitness is much like recovery. You see the incremental changes happening, right?
Yeah.
And that's what pushes us forward to that next step. So I just find it kind of serendipitous that that's the world that you entered, and I mean the two go right in line with one another. I think it's wonderful.
Sure they do. And it's the discipline, too, behind it.
Absolutely.
We lack discipline. That's how we ended up in places such as jail and institutions. We didn't have that ability and that purpose. You have that drive, and you're able to instill that in other people and guide that process and that discipline within them. And I'm sure you coach not just people in recovery, but as we call them, like earth people.
Yes.
And it benefits everybody. I just think it's really beautiful. I'm so glad that you're here to share this story.
Yeah, I'm very honored.
And just being vulnerable and able to communicate with your community as such, and wanting to give back and say, here I am. My name's Francis. I'm here, and this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any better way to want to commune with people.
Yeah, and it's a way of making amends to the community too.
Yeah.
Like through service. This is a form of service, and to people's health and well-being, and that we're able to give back on that level. Again, the community that I committed crimes and I was able to make amends to through service, and in those it's sincere.
Yeah.
It's just really, it's amazing. We really are blessed people to be able to live on both ends of the spectrum and to experience life in so many different ways. And then, again, to be able to give back to our community, I think, is really vital. And to be exposed, too. We have to expose ourselves so that people understand that it's fighting that stigma, but it's also to our brothers and sisters out there that are still struggling. They know, hey, I could stop by there and talk to Francis if I needed to get into treatment. This man will help me. He understands what I'm going through, and there's no judgment there. It's really amazing.
Right.
I was always afraid of, opening, we all kind of keep it locked in and not let it out there. But the community has been an extreme help as far as me keeping myself, knowing that people care.
And they depend on you. That
Yes.
helps keep us going.
Yes.
It's not just about us anymore. It's
Yes.
about other people that we, love and connect with, and they depend on us.
Yeah, I don't want to let myself down or anyone
I
else.
know.
Sometimes the pressure can get overwhelming at times, though. Just knowing that, like, oh crap,
Yeah.
everyone's got their eye on me, and one little slip. But having that community support has been a big thing. And even when the first journey started right out of prison and stuff, I was just thinking of ways like, how am I going to make this work? And I kind of knew, like, if I don't have my community's back and things like that, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
So that's even why I started, like, my Facebook page and just started
We love that
letting my
Facebook
story
page.
out there, you know. And when I first started doing it, was really about, like, the addiction side of it and things like that. But everyone took a liking to it, and it still helps me to keep going to this day.
It's real, and it's vulnerable, and we expose ourselves, but it's so freeing at the same time. It's like, here I am. You know, yes, I'm not just the person that did this, this, and this. I've
Yeah.
evolved past that, and I mean, we are so strong, and it's just so inspiring. Just love it.
Yeah.
I love being part of this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
yeah. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. This is where we fit.
Yeah.
You know, and we support one
Right.
another and
We
check
gotta-
in with one another. And
We got to be thankful of the path that each of us had, because the experiences we've had, most people will never understand that.
That's right.
But that's what makes us who we are, and I think it's kind of almost a good thing in a way. You know, it's a blessing.
absolutely, it
Sure.
is a blessing. It is.
You know, and oftentimes, like, I don't mean to get too spiritual, but I kind of believe what makes the most sense to me is that I chose this
Yes.
for
Yeah.
myself. And, you know, if I was put here for any reason, it was to experience this challenge so that I could overcome it and live a freeing life full of this gratitude that I wasn't going to have prior to this experience, you know. And I've just learned so much about myself, and those around me, being present through it, knowing what the alternative was. You know, I know what the other side is like, and I'm not going to be, you know, no longer satisfied treating myself as such. But, you know, it's something that I speak proudly on, and learning to become vulnerable and being a helping hand for people, setting an example. Like, it's okay to share this stuff with one another, you know. And I think the best thing that we could expect from it is that our friends and our family and the people closest to us then in turn feel more comfortable with this sort of thing, and reducing stigma by the day,
Yep.
as we've seen in our community. I mean,
We
it
have.
has turned drastically with the, you know, we talk crap on social media a lot and stuff, but you know, we're using it to our benefit to tell these stories and to show to Joe down the street down there just what's possible. It's incredible. You know, we're there for you, Joe. Come on out, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that we, you know, that we can change,
Yeah.
and we do change. You know, it's like I can remember doing. I think I shared this, but doing a town hall, and a cop that had arrested me came up to me. He's like, "Wow," and I said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like in
Wow.
recovery. He's like, "I thought you were dead." You know, he assumed, and it's not his fault. You know, but he assumed because he hadn't been arresting me
Hadn't
for
seen you.
10 years that I was dead.
Yeah.
No, man, I'm in recovery. You know, like it is possible.
Yeah.
But they don't, you know, so again, it's important that we get this message out there. And
Mhm.
you're right, like stigma has been reduced, but we still are up a lot, up against a lot of it too. You know, and it takes more of us, you know, and having a platform to be able to talk about these things and spreading awareness and spreading our stories. You know, it really inspires hope. Do you ever have people come up to you and they say, "You were a heroin addict?"
Oh,
Like they're
every day,
they're
yeah.
amazed. Yeah,
Yes.
same here. It's
Yeah.
like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you know, I haven't always been this person. This is what I've evolved into. But it's because of those experiences and that pain that we go through and those challenges that build us to what we are today, which is just amazing.
It's important for us each to find what it is that makes us an individual and that thing that we can gravitate towards. I think Francis provides an excellent example with how, you know, this world of fitness and, you know, physical wellness has changed his life and given him something to gravitate towards. You know, mine was always performing music and picking up that dusty old guitar that I just refused to even look at, right? Like, I'm just going to play those same 3 chords and over and bang my head off the wall. Like, it just doesn't interest me. Going from that to learning new instruments to play, engaging with new people to perform with, and just having that, you know, that's like a temple for me, is my self-expression and wanting to connect with people on that basis. Jen's got her cats. And of course, not only that, but, you know, in the connection that you found and through being able to express yourself as such. I'll tell the story again. When I first came into work, and, you know, I'm so used to this chaotic lifestyle, dimly lit areas, smoky rooms, and noise and chaos, and, you know, people running rampant around, and, you know, and then all of a sudden I'm plunged into this office atmosphere where it's so quiet, and it's early in the morning, and these lights are like, I'm like, what the hell? And, I sat across from Jen my first day, and she's looking at me like, there's something weird about this guy. I'm going to pull it out of him immediately. I'm so thankful for that. She made me feel so much more comfortable, but being who I am, it's something I'm no longer ashamed of.
We've taken it to the nth degree.
Yeah, of course. I should have expected that my, who I am and who I had been was to be put on blast for the better good of, not only for those around me, but for myself, and, to be comfortable just doing that. And
just being who we are.
Right.
Because I think we ran from that most of our life. I was scared of myself. I was scared to turn and look. And then we look and we're like, and there's things that I need to change. And, and we just keep growing and evolving and finding new interests. And it is a spiritual experience. We grow spiritually, and, it's just absolutely amazing being able to connect to another human being. I could only do that artificially. That's why, I can remember being young and having a couple drinks, and then I can connect with people because I'm not in my head. And then as that, like, wow, this is a different experience. I don't feel so self-conscious and awkward and strange. Now we just exist in that state, but it gets better.
It's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
I embrace my awkwardness and my
me too.
nerdiness and just who I am. And then it evolves into harder stuff, then we start experimenting with different substances, because we're always, for me, I was always looking for that freedom from my mind, where I felt like I was connecting to other people. I didn't feel like I was living behind this wall of like a self-made prison where my mind's just telling me, you look stupid, don't stand like that, everyone's looking at you, nobody likes you, you're garbage, and you're just a piece of crap, and you're so stupid, and just the constant inner monologue that really isn't our voice, and then we learn that as we get better, like when I hear that now, I'm like, shut up, like that's not me talking. I'm not listening to this today. We're gonna go about our day. It's not all about you. Just shut up. You're not that important. Let's just keep moving through our day. And it's just not about me and how I feel anymore. It's about us. And it's just so freeing to feel part of a community of people. And today we had our all recovery meeting, to sit in a room with people that are experiencing the same things that we've experienced, or feeling the same way that we have felt or are currently feeling, and to be able to share those things, and connect on that level. It's so intimate, and I feel like it's very vital for our recovery.
That's right. I mean, I didn't often surround myself in such a group in my early recovery. Looking back now, I dearly wish I would have started it a long time ago. Otherwise, how am I supposed to know, like, these thoughts that I'm unable to put into words myself or make it make sense? Whoever's sitting across from me is telling me exactly, I'm like, we agree on this completely, and he was able to articulate that in a manner that I never could have, and it makes so much sense when you hear it.
Sure, we learn from each other.
Yeah, and you think, like, that's me, and that's the connection that I so needed for all these years, right? And that's also helped me with that awkwardness, and that, like you said, like, that voice in your head that's still there, and it's telling me all these things.
You're gonna fail.
Yeah, you're gonna get misinterpreted.
You're gonna mess this up.
Like, your words are just gonna fall flat, and everyone's gonna think it was silly. But it's helped me get better at it. Not only speaking, but articulating and thinking, okay, well, if it's gonna get misconstrued or whatever, at least I got it out whichever way I knew comfortable with.
Yes. And it's
Thank you.
And Francis is so inspiring, because again, he had like this vision, and he keeps, he tried it. He didn't listen to the voice like, that's stupid, you're gonna fail. We don't. You're not listening to that stuff. We're doing the action, because recovery is all action, and to be able to put himself out there and create something that's beneficial to so many people, really to anybody.
I would like to know what's next for Francis.
Imagine if you had listened, see that fear that holds us back our whole life, that fear, like, what if I fail? Well, I had to get to the point where, so what? What's the worst that's going to happen? So what? At least you tried. Like, my worst fear now is being on my deathbed thinking, I wish I would have done this, this, and this. But my fear held me back. I don't want that.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
that fear can. I mean, it almost held me back from many. Even this starting the business and being a trainer. I'm like, people are gonna think I'm nuts in this small
No.
town.
Yeah.
But then I started, even just learning about self-talk. I never even knew like what that was. But the one program I was in, and I always thought like I had done some rehabs and stuff, and I'm like, this is BS. I didn't want to learn it.
Yeah.
But once I
Yeah.
started to say like, wow, what they're teaching me, if I really apply this stuff, it's gonna work. So I took that all in and started to put it into my own life, and so be it. It does work.
It does.
I've
You're proof.
figured out the tools how to do it, and the self-talk part was big for me. I was always awkward, shy,
Talking down to yourself.
yeah, scared of failure, but now I don't care anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? And it feels good to be able to say that.
I love it.
In terms of like treatment facilities and stuff, I think now, like, if it's a cliche, right? And we were turned away from that at first.
lame.
Yeah, right. But like, it's obviously a
Yeah.
cliche because it's effective, because it's been said so many times, because it works. Yeah.
Exactly.
One
We
day
change
at a
our
time,
thinking about
right.
that. Yeah, one day at a time.
Right. I'm like, oh
Easy
my God,
does
if I
it.
hear that one more time today. But yeah, I
Yes.
mean, that's what it was for me. It was just for today. If I don't pick up, if I don't drink, then I'm going to be good.
And it's
Yep.
manageable. Like,
Yeah.
I can deal with
Yes.
today, and trying to live in the moment. Because how much time did we waste living in the past, obsessing about the past, being fearful of the future? Now it's like I live pretty much in the day. I mean, I make plans and I have goals for my future, but that's so freeing too.
Yeah.
Dealing with the weight of the past, going through that trauma and reconciling that with the help of other people or agencies or therapy, whatever it is that we use. And then, not being so fearful of the future because we shut that voice down. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? We can, and we can handle anything that's coming. It's just, it's amazing. What a change. I used to be so anxiety ridden all the time. I mean, it was crippling. There were
me
times
too.
I'm like, I can't do this. I can't get up today. I can't face people. But here we are. We just, again, doing the action, doing it despite how I feel. And it has brought us to this point, It's amazing.
Jen, you've been a great example for me, not, again, this is not surrounding myself in this recovery lifestyle. Big part of why I wanted to pursue CRS was because I didn't think I was doing enough. I wanted to completely engross myself in this atmosphere for fear of, I love bartending. I love the atmosphere. I love the community. But I know it's going to take one trigger is going to put me in that place that I might not be able to get back out from. So, I can still appreciate it from afar. And, this is my family. These are people that have always been there for me. But if I can't be there for myself to be in that atmosphere, I need to try something new. And that was the scariest step for me. But living every day in it sure keeps me grounded to, just that regular connection with people that we have so much in common with. It's mind-blowing. When I meet someone for the first time, I'm always kind of nervous. That's always that negative self-talk that's keeping me. And then by the end of it, I have chills. I have my goosebumps. My hairs on my arms are standing on end because I'm like, another one just like me, and we're here together. The best thing I could hope for is that, we're just learning from each other and adapting all of this information to our lives is so powerful. I listen to a lot of speakers at night. Alan Watts is one of my favorites. Of course, the introduction to our show, and other guys that I can really gel with. But, and applying it across the board and just having pleasant conversation, continuing to learn is not something I thought I was, pretty much
learning.
done. Yeah, like
No.
I'm at the peak of my life. Like, no way, man. We're just getting started.
Oh yeah, and as we change, everything looks different. So we're learning things over again. We take on a new meaning, and we have fun in recovery too. I thought recovery would be boring and lame. No, it's so much fun. Like those belly laughs. Like we have so much fun at work. It's
A real
unbelievable.
authentic laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yep.
my favorite thing. That is my favorite thing, I think, to do, is to laugh. I mean, when something's so hilarious, you can't even take it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the best feeling. And yeah, I
Gotta
didn't
have a
want.
little joy in each day.
Oh yeah, we do have joy.
It's one of my daily goal. I have to do something, even if it's 5 minutes,
Mhm.
that brings me some joy.
Mhm.
You know, just to keep it going.
Yeah, it's just an amazing. We have all these feelings. We didn't feel this stuff when we were using.
No.
I was generally just angry and then like relieved when I got what I needed, so I didn't get sick. You know,
Hmm.
that was it. That was it. No, and here we are. And then you would have like the moments, and you'd feel fear a lot too. Like, how am I going to get this? I'm going to run. I'm going to get starting to get sick. You know, like all these. I mean, that's just what our life was, and then here we are now. Like we can sincerely connect and love and experience joy, feel anger, and handle it in a completely different way, in a responsible way. You know, I'm not raging. I do sometimes, but you know,
Yeah.
like raging and acting crazy and you know plotting revenge against people like I used
Yeah.
to. You know, like
Being able to control it a little
yeah,
bit.
and yeah, it's not as overpowering as it used to be. My highs aren't as high and my lows aren't as low. I'm kind of even most of the
Mhm.
time.
You know, I hate to say that there's still maybe this misconception that any of us enjoyed our experience at the tail end of it, right?
Oh,
Would have done anything to just
I just wanted
have
the
it
pain
taken
to end.
away. Yeah, I mean,
If that was
Oh, yeah.
dying, I was okay with
How
it. I
about
just
it?
wanted the pain to
Yeah.
end.
yeah, and I mean, it almost resulted in that a couple of times that,
Sure.
that seemed to be the most sensible thing to do at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shortly before entering treatment, and this time it wasn't the judge's order, or it wasn't to get jail sentence reduced. This time was like I can kind of see what's around the corner, and it scared the hell out of me. And that the hardest thing to do was to call the number on that business card until I met with the person, and I laid on their front yard just staring at the sky, and finally feeling all these things coming at once. And in retrospect now, I can remember like that just flood of that feeling of letting go, and finally feeling okay that I'd reached out. But again, yeah, all those times in treatment, even in jail, I'm like, they got me again.
It's always the cops' fault or probation's fault.
I'm the most unlucky SOB I know.
We never take
Like
responsibility.
everybody I know is doing this. The same
all
thing.
against
It's
me.
yeah, right. Why is it always me?
Yeah. They get away with everything.
Clearly,
And I get away
right.
with nothing.
Clearly.
It's like I can remember being resentful about that in recovery. I'm
Yeah.
like, I would have been in state prison. They
Mhm.
get a slap on the wrist,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Yeah.
I had always try to blame everything on others as well. I had been in and out of jail from my teenage years, even up to my late 30s, and my very last time in court when I had got sentenced to state prison, I can remember being very angry at the judge, kind of begging for mercy, but in the long run, and this was just a couple. In March, I had my very last court appearance where I closed my case. I finished probation, and I went up to him and I thanked him for actually resentencing me, because somebody had seen something. My counselor at the rehab, they had seen I had just by doing these little like we were saying, stealing coffee, cupcakes, and then it went to sneaking cigarettes, and then I was abusing my medication and all these little things right before I was going to get released. She had said, like, you're going to go home and die. So when I got to see the judge last month, I made it a statement to him. Hey, I'm sorry for being angry and a jerk off before and blaming you, but now I can finally take responsibility, and I kind of thank you that I'm lucky to be here.
Right.
That's right.
Congratulations, by the
Yeah,
way. That's
thanks.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it was
Done
it
with
felt
it.
good.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the old me. The old me would have been like,
F you.
Yeah, F you, judge. Like, I'm not. I used
Yeah.
to try to think I was too cool for that.
Yeah.
But now I don't think like that anymore. I strive to be a different person than that,
You
that
got
guy that used to
yeah.
be like that.
You got what you needed, and we don't realize that we want what we want, but we get what we need sometimes. And then looking back, it's like if I got what I wanted, I wouldn't be here. It just shows that when we're in that state, or when we're ambivalent kind of about recovery, we're not very good at making decisions for ourselves. We need other people to step in and do that. Whether that be a judge, or spouse, or treatment facility, or where we work. It's just we need people to help guide that process, because I certainly was not capable of making a good decision.
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes when you do it on your own, it's the bad.
Oh,
the bad
yeah,
choice.
because the addiction is it's taken over that it's running the show. So how can it's always going to make the decision to protect itself.
Yes.
Whether that be driving people away from us, or being angry at the judge, or why don't you just give me probation for this, or whatever it is. It's always trying to protect itself. And we need space, and we need time, and we need help to be able to get to where we're in the forefront, and it's in the back. I mean, it's always in the back. We were just talking about it today, even with dreams and cravings and
sneaky ways that it uses our own voice
comes
against
in the back
us.
door.
to-
It does.
It's
To
always
try to,
still there.
yeah, right.
Even I just hit my 6-year mark April
Congratulations.
17th.
Yeah.
It's been 6 years,
Awesome.
but it's still there.
It's always
It gets
there.
easier, but it probably on a daily basis.
Right.
You guys know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you get that little voice, but the more you deal with it, at least for myself, the quicker I can overcome those thoughts. Like, hey, whoa, what are you doing?
Right.
We're
Why
not
are you
doing
even
this
thinking
today.
of that
Yep.
before it gets into the action mode, and you start manipulating and things
Then
like
it's
that?
over.
Yeah.
Once we start that,
it
it's
can
over.
snowball real fast.
Sure. Well, lo and behold, folks, the three of us sitting here today, and we could talk so comfortably about the things that we had done and the behaviors that we exhibit all along. I think that the people we are today was really in there all along, right?
I
And
agree.
and what we had to do just to bring our hearts out and to overcome that disease. I mean, that's what it is. That's what's pinning us down, keeping us inside. Well, no longer, am I afraid to let that be known that, I need to be a companion. I want to be that empathetic person that I always was and always knew I could have been. But for the sake of drugs and alcohol that twisted my synapses around in delicate ways to that, the full extent of my potential was never realized. And thankfully, through treatment supports, recovery, and people that I hold closest to me, I can be that person again.
Yeah.
And be that parent that I wanted to be, and just to be that friend, that companion.
Let the real potential
That's
shine.
it. Yeah, and when we're just getting started, right? I mean,
agree.
Tip of the
let's
iceberg.
go. I look forward to each and every morning, and I often say, gravity is the only thing keeping me down, baby. Let's go. What's next? Let's discover something exciting. I'm loving it.
It is exciting.
Yes, Francis, thank you so much, man, for sharing with us
Thank
today.
you.
This was really excellent.
And if people want to get in touch with him
Yes.
or join the business, do you want to give your information?
Yes, it's you can follow me on Facebook at Back to Basics Fitness, or give me a call 412-598-5800.
Awesome, and
All right.
we'll include that information in the video description down below.
Thank you.
If you guys want to check it out, again, give
All right.
Francis a holler. He's got your back.
I just wanted to mention one more thing.
Yes.
I'm trying to get into, and I've had someone approach me where I can go into some prisons and things like that.
Absolutely.
Do some
Oh my
motivational
God, yes.
speaking.
Awesome.
Even try to help the inmates as far as how to start a business. They have a program, I think it's in the Loretto jail, where they actually have courses for the inmates to do personal training courses. So hopefully maybe by the end of summer I'll get some things like that. It's just a process
Yeah.
of getting it approved by
Excellent.
the wardens and things like that. So I'm
You're-
trying to work into some things like that
You're perfect
too.
for it.
Yeah, absolutely perfect for it.
Yeah.
And when you do get those rolling, let us know. We'll have you
Will
back
do.
on and we'll
For
talk
sure,
about
yeah,
that.
Awesome.
get some feedback how
That's
it goes.
great. Thank you
Heck
so
yeah.
much.
All
All
right.
right, folks. Once again, thank you for tuning in
Zen.
to
Zen
Farmer.
Are you
I hit the
ready?
wrong
Oh, wait.
button.
Hold on. Try this one. Is it the? Yay! All right, folks. We will see you next time. Take care
Signing
now.
off.
All right.
Thank you.
Love you. Bye bye.
Bye.